There are a lot of players out there for whom Destiny Rising will be their first gacha game. With Destiny 2 bleeding player numbers and those players looking for the next big thing to hold their attention, Destiny Rising could be poised to make a big splash in the community. It plays and feels like a Destiny game. The story writing is solid, passable in the first portion, and improves drastically from Part 2 on based on the beta. And the grind that most players look for in a Destiny game is present too, with exotics being rare again and farming for relics and guns with random roll perks being the major driving factor behind the game's playtime. While a lot of players coming into Destiny Rising will be players who've mostly dealt with gachas prior, there will be a lot of people, like myself, with limited experience. So, just for a small, quick video to address a lot of questions I've been seeing in the Discord, let's talk about the monetary side of things. Pity, rate up, and the draw system. Strap in. First, let's go ahead and get some basic terms established. Pity is a system that's in place in most gacha games that guarantees an outcome by a specific point. Since gacha games work on a random draw system, a pity helps ensure that you can achieve a guaranteed outcome. This is an evolution from the era of loot boxes in video games, as that system contained no pity and you never really knew what you were getting. Back in Destiny 1, there was a set of Taken armor released in Eververse only, attainable through loot boxes. If you also collected all 5 pieces of armor, you also unlocked an exclusive Taken emote. For some people, like IB's Vents, this was a quick process of paying $20 and getting all the armor from the pools he got for the $20. For other people like me though, it took me $230 worth of pools to get all the pieces. This presented a major problem. A gacha may be predatory, but in order to be reasonable, most gachas choose to implement a guarantee to entice players to perform targeted spending. You can still technically get the character at any time between the first pool and the pity pool, but you won't have to exceed that pity pool for a top tier character. This further extends to hard pity and soft pity. In Wuthering Waves, for example, soft pity is when the draw chance percentage starts to increase. The draw percentage stays the same throughout the draw process at a fixed rate until you hit pity. Then it begins to increase steadily until reaching 100%. At what's referred to as hard pity, the absolute maximum required to draw the character. Pity is essentially bad luck protection for those of us not blessed by RNGesus. Rate up is a term gachas use to describe characters on a banner whose draw chances are increased compared to other characters in the loot pool. Usually, this applies to lower tier characters like legendary characters in Destiny Rising or 4-star characters in other gachas. In most gacha games, the draw pool will contain all available 4-star options, but 2 to 3 will be what we call rate up, meaning the chance of them being drawn when pulling on that specific banner is higher than other characters or items in the same rarity classification. I'm a big Honkai Star Rail player, so let's use their system as an example. Honkai Star Rail has a total of 23 4-star characters to pull. On the standard banner, all of these characters have the same percentage chance of being pulled randomly every 10 pulls. But with special banner pulls, 3 of those characters will be chosen as rate-up characters, meaning your likelihood of drawing those particular characters when drawing from the special banner is greatly increased. The potential for drawing the other 4 stars is still present, but the probability is when you draw a 4-star, it's going to be one of the featured rate-up characters. Next up is the term 50-50. In gacha terms, a 50-50 is a probability that typically applies in most gacha games when pulling for a specific special banner character. In Honkai Star Rail, when you get a gold or 5-star character, there's a 50% chance of it being the character featured on the banner and a 50% chance of it instead being a invitational character, a different 5-star character from a list of characters you selected. In most gacha games, not drawing the banner character is called losing the 50-50. And if you lose the 50-50, you're typically guaranteed to draw the banner character on the next 5-star pool. This means in games with a 50-50 system, the maximum pool for really bad luck will be 2 times whatever the hard pity draw is. You can still draw anywhere between 1 and hard pity, but the absolute worst case scenario for a game with a 50-50 system is 2 times hard pity counter. Now that we've established the terms soft pity, hard pity, rate up, and 50-50, let's talk conversion rates. Draw currencies are generally not bought with outright money. Instead, you use money to buy a currency to trade for a different currency to then use the final currency to buy draws. Likewise, the currency you convert to is usually attainable through in-game activities and events as well. For an example of how this all flows before we talk about Destiny Rising's system, let's look at what I, and many others, consider to be the golden standard of the gacha genre, Wuthering Waves. Wuthering Waves is an open-world, third-person, team-based action combat gacha game that operates with an 80 hard pity and a 65 soft pity. Prior to those points, each banner character has a 0.8% chance of being pulled. Once you hit 65 convenes, your character chances will build steadily each draw until it reaches 100% at 79 convenes completed. The game implements a 50-50 system, utilizing the collection of standard banner 5-star characters to fill up half of the 50-50 chance and the banner character themselves for the other 50. In addition to characters, Wuthering Waves also has weapons as other draw items with a 100% draw rate at a 65 soft pity and an 80 hard pity. The currency used to buy convenes, the game's term for draws, is called Asterites, and free-to-play players can expect to earn between 80 and 100 free pools worth of currency per patch through gameplay, side missions, and events. The conversion rate for Asterites into pools is 160 Asterites per pool and 1,600 per 10 pools. The paid currency in the game is Lunites. Lunites can be used to purchase a variety of packs that benefit the player through extra resources, currencies, and other things. Lunites can also be converted to Asterites at a rate of 1-to-1, meaning 160 Lunites can be converted to 160 Asterites, which can then be exchanged for convenes. There are 3 convene types in the game: Radiant Tide, Forging Tide, and Lustrous Tide. Lustrous Tide is used to pull for standard banner characters. Forging Tide is used to pull for weapon banners, and Radiant Tide is used to pull for the limited time banner characters. All of these have an exchange rate of 160 Asterites per convene regardless of which one you trade for. In terms of real money cost, Lunites are sold in packs, with the lowest pack being 60 Lunites for 99 cents and 8,080 Lunites for $99.99. This means one pool equates to just under $2.67 worth of currency on the low end and $1.98 worth of currency on the high end. Therefore, the cost per hard pity would equate to, roughly, $213.60 if you buy into Lunite with the lowest cost pack, or $158.40 if you buy him with the highest cost pack. If you want a character's full set, that means, at the worst luck point, you could be looking at between $640.80 on the low and $475.20 on the high, depending on the packs of Lunite you purchase. This is also assuming that C0R0 is your aim. If you want C6R6, which is basically when you pull duplicate draws of weapons and characters to get their wave bands and stack them up, it's substantially more. This doesn't take free Lunite into account, so this is also going from 0 to max on exclusively cash, but this is only to demonstrate how one of the best regarded systems in the gacha space works. Does that mean every character will have you out the full 180 pools? Not at all. My buddy Phoenix, who's new to the game, spent $35 the other day and pulled Shorekeeper, her weapon, Brant, and his weapon. Granted, he also used a lot of free currency mixed in, but the point remains. There are things offered to offset the actual monetary costs affiliated with the game's gacha system. I had a similar situation with Honkai Star Rail. I put $160 into the game when Saber dropped, and I managed to use that $160 worth of currency to pull S0 Finon, S0 Sunday, S0 Sparkle, S0 Bronya, and S0 Saber. I lost the 50-50 for Trivi, but picked her up later with some free Jades, finishing out what I didn't get from the previous pulls. More recently, I saved up 152 pulls for free and managed to pull S0 Kafka and S0 Clara with 30 pulls to spare. I pulled Kafka and the 50 pulls to boot, which was well below soft pity point. That's the magic of a gacha. At its core, there's a gamble element to it. Now that we've covered WUWA and its monetary system, let's break down Destiny Rising and see how it compares. Let me preface this by saying my evaluation here is not going to cover the entirety of Destiny Rising's monetary system. I'm only going to address things relating to the pool system and how silver interacts with that specific system in the same way I talked about WUWAs. There's a lot more use for silver than pools in Destiny Rising, and regardless if you consider that a good or bad thing, spoiler, most of us consider it decently bad, I don't want to go into or address that portion right now. My only focus on this video is explaining the system through which characters are obtained for now. I'm sure we'll end up discussing things on Wednesday night when we host our second podcast of sorts for our relaunch party, but for today, let's just stick to the draw system and silver costs. Destiny Rising employs a hard pity of 60 draws. That having been said, there's not really a true soft pity in the traditional sense. Instead of a soft pity, the game implements an escalating chance with percentages rising with every pool. The chance rises very slightly for a majority of pools until you hit around 50 pools when the jump in terms of percentage starts increasing heavily. Around 50 pools, your chance is around roughly 60%, starting with pool 51, reaching 100% by pool 60. After 5 pools, your chance is around 5%, but by 30 pools, the chance is up to 37. This chart actually shows the real track's chance percentages as of the beta. So right off the bat, a major difference from Destiny Rising's and normal gachas is Destiny Rising having constantly increasing chances with every draw instead of remaining at a constant until the soft pity wall. Starting from pool 51 plus, the chances begin jumping rapidly from 66% up to 99% at pool 59 and 100 finally at 60. In addition, there are no weapon pools for Destiny Rising. All weapons are earnable through gameplay, so the only banners to pull on are characters. In addition, believe it or not, special banners have no 50-50 system in place. This means, for example, pulling for Gwen, you are 100% guaranteed to get Gwen by 60 pools or less. So, what's the trade-off? Well, it's all in conversion rates. Destiny Rising sells silver priced at 60 silver for 99 cents, or you can buy the $100 pack, which will net you 7,768 silver. Pools cost 180 Lumina Leaves, and the silver to Lumina Leaf conversion rate is 1-to-1. That means on the low end, a single pool will cost you $3, while on the high end, it will cost you $2.32 per pool. This means a guaranteed character will run you $180 on the low end and $139.20 on the higher bundle end. The catch here is that there's nothing else to pull unless you pull the character a second time. That makes the investment into Destiny Rising cheaper on both ends. Except it doesn't take a simple fact into account. Just because you draw the character doesn't mean you need the weapon in WUWA. The 50-50 system inflates the numbers since with bad luck you could be forced into pulling 160 times compared to 80 in WUWA, but your guaranteed 60 in Destiny Rising removes some of the chance and ultimately makes the game a safer option. In addition, you are much more likely to pull a character on pool 30 to 40 in Destiny Rising than you are in WUWA or other gachas. The ever-escalating draw system implemented in Destiny Rising means that for the most part, you shouldn't need to go to hard pity too very often. Will it still happen? Absolutely. RNGesus likes to punish those who get too cocky in gachas and curse them to dolphin or whale status. But statistically speaking, if I had to stake my life on getting a draw well before hard pity, I would choose Destiny Rising 100% of the time. I also know for a fact what I'll be getting in that game too, since there's no 50-50 system. Gachas are games that can be fair in their application, as well as predatory with the application and practices. The fact of the matter is that more often than not, gacha games as a whole operate on risk and reward. The gamble of throwing in a 10 pull to possibly pull back a rare hero makes the chances and chase exhilarating and exciting. The allure of free pulls draws you into the illusion of just a few more and I'll get the one. And the feeling of winning the 50-50? It's fantastic. Exhilarating. Electric even. Especially if you're really invested in the character. Destiny Rising looks to copy that feeling, but make your outcomes a little more predictable. Dropping 60 pools with each pool having only a 0.8% chance of ever succeeding versus an ever-escalating and improving chance at a guaranteed drop of what you're seeking really helps to balance the scales against the slightly higher entry cost. The fact that there are no weapons or armor to acquire through the gacha system also lends to the system being a slightly less predatory system. In fact, almost everyone I've talked about this system with has glazed it for how good it actually is in the industry. The issue with Destiny Rising's monetization doesn't actually stem from this system. But that's a problem fellow content creators have covered at length, so if you want to hear more on the issues with the monetary system as a whole in Destiny Rising, you can find one of their videos that dives into the subject further. I wanted to offer an overview just for the gacha portion of Destiny Rising's monetization system in comparison to other games. While we don't quite know how many free pools to expect per patch with Destiny Rising, we have seen vast improvements in rewards and currency attainable for free from the North American beta to the Chinese beta, and it's highly possible we'll see even more before launch this week. Hopefully, this video's been helpful to you. Only a few short days left until we can all finally get in and play, and I for one can't wait. If you want to hear more of my opinions on the game, my hoped streams, and all in between, there should be a Release Eve podcast going live the night before or morning of Destiny Rising's release over on Fyrus's channel. Thanks for tuning in. I've still got 2 more videos I want to drop this week before the go live, so be on the lookout for those. The next few videos will give an overview of the weapon system, as well as energy and what to spend it on. As always, I'm Automaton, and I'll see you tomorrow!